We start off our show on a somber note, as many across the nation and the world mourn the loss of 8-month-old Indi Gregory. Indi passed away earlier this week in her home country of England, less than 2 days after she was taken off of life support. This based on an order by Justice Robert Peel. Peel serves on the High Court of Justice of England and Wales at the third highest judicial rank in the region. Peel ruled that it was in Indi's, quote, best interests to cut her life short. Before her death, the Italian government offered Indi immediate citizenship and care in a Vatican hospital at no cost. UK officials refused to allow this. Italy's President Giorgia Meloni said she would do all that she could to keep Indi alive and vowed to, quote, defend the right of her mama and papa to do all that they could for her. Though her parents are not religious, they chose to give Indi a Christian baptism in September. Her father, Dean, said on behalf of himself and his wife, Claire and I are angry, heartbroken, and ashamed. They succeeded in taking her body and dignity, but they can never take her soul. They tried to get rid of Indi without anybody knowing, but we made sure she would be remembered forever. Claire held her for her final breaths. Indi's struggle led her parents to desire baptism as well. They now believe that the sacrament will protect them here on earth and help them reach heaven. Our prayers are with them. Joining us now to discuss Indi's case is Courtney Mayers, Rome correspondent for the Catholic News Agency. Courtney, thanks for being here. To start, can you share a bit about Indi's condition, what she was suffering from?
Thank you, Prudence. It's just been a heartbreaking week to cover this case and watch how everything unfolded in the courts in the end. To share a little bit of Indi's story, Indi Gregory was born with an incurable and degenerative mitochondrial disease. She'd been hospitalized in Nottingham, England since her birth last February and had been on full life support with intubation since September. Her condition was very severe, yet Indi's parents said that their 8-month-old daughter had meaningful interactions with them, and they argued that she did not show signs of serious pain. Her parents were seeking more time for further investigation into her medical condition and to have life-sustaining care be continued as they sought all the possible treatment options for their daughter, including options outside of the UK, especially once that became available here in Italy.
Right. And talk to me a little bit about the care that the Italian government and the Vatican were prepared to provide for her.
The Vatican's Pediatric Hospital, which is called the Bambino Gesù Hospital here in Rome, offered to continue to provide life-sustaining medical care to Indi while further treatments were explored. These included a stent in her heart, experimental therapies, and palliative care while the treatments took effect. Last week, we saw the Italian government decided in an emergency meeting to grant Indi Italian citizenship to help facilitate her transfer to Rome and to cover all the cost of her medical treatments at the Vatican hospital. So Indi's further treatment would have come at no cost to the national healthcare system or the UK taxpayer. But despite these efforts, UK courts continually refuse to allow permission for Indi to be transferred to Rome. And on the day of her final court hearing, we even saw a last-ditch effort by Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni, who personally intervened and wrote to the UK's Lord Chancellor calling for the two countries to officially collaborate to facilitate Indi's transfer to Rome under the Hague Convention. But this again was ultimately dismissed by the courts.
Yes, and I think what makes this even more tragic, as you're explaining, Courtney, is that there were a number of people prepared to try and help save Indi's life. What has the reaction been in Italy to Indi's death?
The reaction here in Italy has been an emotional one of sadness, of disappointment, and deep empathy for the incredible suffering and loss that Indi's parents have endured through all of this. On the day that Indi's life support was disconnected, the Vatican released a statement from Pope Francis, who said he embraced the family of little Indi in his prayers and was praying for her in the last hours of her life. Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni also responded publicly saying, "We did everything we could, but unfortunately it was just not enough."
Right, and unfortunately this isn't the first time a child in critical condition has lost their life after being removed from life support in England. What can you tell us about the other children who have lost their lives in this way, such as Charlie Gard and Alfie Evans? And is there any possibility that these laws might change someday? Have you heard anything from your sources on that?
That's right. Indy was actually suffering from the same condition as Charlie Gard, who died under similar circumstances with the removal of life support against his parents' wishes in 2017. Charlie's parents also fought a long legal battle to transfer him to the Vatican's Pediatric hospital, which ultimately was a failed effort, and Charlie died after the removal of life support at 11 months old. We saw a similar case with Alfie Evans in 2018, who was also offered Italian citizenship and once again, unfortunately, was blocked by the UK courts from leaving. So I've been in touch with the Bioethics Center at Oxford University, who told me that unfortunately cases like Indy's have become depressingly familiar in the UK. All of these cases ultimately come down to parental rights. Parents need to be recognized as the first judges of what's in the best interests of their children, with only limited exceptions. And bioethicists in the UK have said that outcomes in cases like Indy's are due to flaws in the way that the courts in England decide these type of medical questions. So what's really needed is a legal change to recognize the authority of parents to judge the best interests of their child, including to be able to seek healthcare abroad within the UK's national healthcare system. But unfortunately, there just is not any indication that that is changing anytime soon.
Wow. Well, we're grateful that you're reporting on this heavy story. I'm sure it's not easy. And of course, our prayers are with the Gregorys, and we're grateful for all the details you've brought us today. Thanks so much for being here, Courtney.
Thank you, Prudence.